Hello guys, Lid here. So this video will be an update for Frostmage, and I've been doing Frostmage for quite a while, and then I stopped and moved to Sniper because I'm doing mostly mapping. But I do get some requests to update the Frostmage, so this video will serve as an update for the Frostmage setup. And one caution here for Frostmage, you cannot really start the Frostmage setup without some sort of investment, because most of your damage will come from jewel, and the jewel can be quite expensive. Like the jewel that I'm using is not the best jewel, and it still costs I think around like 2 or 3 to find. So it's not exactly a budget setup, and you do need some investment into it. So this setup is exile on single target. Frostmage is the highest single target DPS for minions, but I will also provide a setup for clearing maps. It's not the best at clearing maps, it's fine, but if you want to do something like breaches, Sniper is definitely a better choice. So I will provide both setup in the POB and also in the max roll, so you will see 2 sets of gems. So let's begin with the setup. Let's start with the passive tree first. The Ascendancy, I'm using Infernalist, and we have Loyal Hellhound. This is going to take 20 damage from hits for you. So this is basically 20% damage reductions. And we also take Art of Flesh. This is a good defensive layer. And Bedad's Will to get more spirit, and Bedad's Hand to get more energy shield, because the defensive layer for this setup is using energy shield with a combination with Grim Fist. And for the passive tree, this is the passive tree. Mostly we are looking for a lot of jewel socket. There's only so much minion cluster that you can take, and having more jewel socket going to give you more critical chance and critical damage. So for the jewel, as you can see over here, you're looking for damage, critical chance, and critical bonus. The best jewel if also including max and maximum energy shield. Then the reason why I'm not using that kind of jewel, because that jewel is really expensive. By the time of I make this video, when I check on the trade side, it's around like 8 to 9 define, like that's the cheapest one. So that will be very expensive. But if you can get that jewels, that means you either have an options to like take off all the energy shield nodes, because you're going to get energy shield from your jewel, and then you can put it on like, I don't know, a more jewel socket. That's always an option that you can always go for, and you can get more critical chance and more critical damage. So for the setup, I do take a lot of energy shield node because my jewel doesn't have an energy shield. We're going to take all the crit node for the minions, because this is a crit setup, and I'm also using this against the darkness jewel over here. So this jewel will give me quite a lot of spirit and quite a lot of strength, and to be honest, you probably do not need this, because with Frostmage, the body blocking problem with the minions, you is definitely going to feel it. So having more minions after a certain point doesn't really feels that good anymore, because they will start body blocking each other's. But in my case, I have something like 19 Frostmage, which is pretty good, but you probably won't need that much. This jewel is quite expensive. If you do not have the currency for this jewel, you can go for like normal jewel like this, and you will be fine. And that's one thing about the passive tree, because we do use a weapon swap tag. I do have a stab over here that's going to give Sigil of Power, and it's also going to give a lot of cold spell skill. So I will show how you're going to set all of this up. So if you see over here, we have weapon set 1, we have weapon set 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refund all of the points so I can show how you set it up. So the first step is you want to have 24 points left. As you can see over here, I have 24 points left. And the way you do it, you will click this button over here, and this will assign you on the weapon set 1. So on the weapon set 1, you want to take all the minions node over here, and all the minion nodes here. And then we're going to take this 2 node over here, and also this node over here. So this one, and I have one over here. Okay, so the weapon set 1 is set, and then you will click the second number over here. There's a weapon set number 2. The second weapon set is used to cast the Sigil of Power and also cast your curses. So we can add some of the point of the curse point, and then this will make us able to have a really strong curse, and that will increase the TPS by quite a lot. So this point over here, and we're going to take all this point. This 1 point I don't think is really necessary. You can get 20% increase effect from like 50% duration expire, but usually the boss doesn't last that long. So it don't really bother about that one node over there. So, and the last one is this one, area of effect. So what happened is when you swap your weapon, this passive tree become active and the passive tree on the weapon set 1 will become inactive. And this is important because we do use weapon swap, and don't get confused by the number on the top left, because there is this is a visual box. I do not have 38 Frost Mage. And the second setup will be on the skill gem. You can find the detail on the POB. If you see over here, there is a allocation that you can make, how much you want the minion on weapon 1 and weapon 2. You can change the weapon 2 into 0 if you want to, because some people just use it to unstuck their minions. For me personally, I don't really do that one because I do not do Frostmage for mapping. So the one that you need to check is on the Pain Offering. The Pain Offering only allocate on the weapon 1, so you can see over here, just uncheck the weapon 2. And for the Flame Wall, it's the same thing, uncheck the weapon 2. And for the End of Winter, it's also the same, uncheck the weapon 2. And for Hyperthermia, just left both of them checked, that's fine. So you can still also use the curse with the first weapon set. And to trigger the weapon set 2, this has come from Sigil of Power, because this Sigil of Power only exists on the weapon 2. So whenever you press Sigil of Power, it will automatically move you into the second weapon set. So this is what you do on boss fight. The first one, you're going to pop the Sigil of Power, and then you're going to cast the Curse Ground to the location where the boss will spawn. And you will cast your Flame Wall twice, and because your Flame Wall allocated for the weapon set 1, whenever you click the Flame Wall, it's going to switch back into the first weapon set. And after that, after you cast your fourth Flame Wall, and then you can do Flame Offering, and then when the boss spawn, you're going to throw Eye of Winter and do Flame Wall again to basically try to keep the Raging Spirit ups. To be honest, Raging Spirit doesn't really matter anymore after certain point, because your damage is already really high. The Raging Spirit doesn't really contribute that much. So that's the rotations if you want to do bossing. So for the skill gem itself, for the Frost Mage, there will be a gem that you need to change if you want to do something like mapping or bossing. For examples, Wild Shot is really good. You can change it for Minion Mastery. They will make the projectile will have a chance to fire 8 projectile, and that will help you a lot in mapping. And the second one is you can choose between Cold Mastery and Feeding Frenzy. And the reason why I'm swapping the Feeding Frenzy is because I need the level 36, because level 36 is the level breakpoint for Spirit Reductions. If I take out the Cold Mastery, I will not have enough Spirit to have 19 Frost Mage. So that's the reason why I am swapping Feeding Frenzy. But if you're not reaching the level 36, or if you're not at the breaking point for the level 4 Spirit Reductions, you can swap out the Cold Mastery for something like Fork. And the Fork is actually optional, you don't have to use it for creating maps, but Fork is something that you can add as an extra if you need better crit speed, especially if you want to do Breach. You definitely will need Fork and Wild Shot in the same time. And also for your Atlas 3, if you want to do Breach, you probably have to take Sustain Siege, because Frostmage is not really that good and that fast on creating Breach. So that's for the gems and the situational gem and what you need to change, whether you want to do maps or what you want to do Uber bosses. And for the gear itself, everything will be on the link. The most important part for Fenter and Ingenuity, this is not a mandatory item that you need to do. But you can use Rare Belt and Rare Rings. Both of them is fine. It's just with Fenter you get more rarity and you also get more spirit, that's about it. But that is not exactly mandatory for the setup. This is a setup that I will recommend if you want to play Frost Mage, and the content you will do is something like bossing, Arbiter of Ash, Audience with the King or King of the Mist, Allrod, Breach Boss Says, or something like Delirium. Delirium is also Frost Mage is also pretty good at Deliriums, but for Deliriums there is a little bit of a problems. If you get a mod monster have more elemental resistance, and you're going to see your damage drop for quite a lot. And the way you can mitigate it by using your curse more or keep using your Pain Offering. In my case, it doesn't really matter that much because I have quite a lot of investment on this setup, so I still can power through the plus for Deliriums, but that is a problem that you can encounter on Deliriums. So it's just a very different content from Sniper, so depending on which content you want to do, you can choose which setup that you want. And if you want Frostmage for the utility, for example, the chill and freeze effect, because that's one big component of Frostmage, if you bring this to the map, I do have a hybrid setup in my channels, but that one is on gemling because I have to use the same support gem multiple times, and the only way you can do it is using on gemling. So if you guys want to know more about that setup, you can check out my channels. There's a video on gemling multi-minion type setup. So that's all I have for you today, and if you guys have any questions, leave it in the comment below. I will try my best to answer it. And if you like the video, consider like and subscribe, so that will help the channel a lot. So thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good one.
We that dreamed, we in nightmare, we that power, we. Defy the doom at the door. Purify.
How useful.
Believe me, you will fall exile. Keep your precious sanity, my agent.